Y'all, somebody had the nerve to ask me were we gonna hot girl summer them to death this summer. What did you think we were preparing y'all for? I see. You thought this was a game. You thought it was a joke. You thought that we were just talking about something just to say it, just to speak for the past month and a half. No. Yes, you're gonna get this hot girl summer every day to the end of the summer, and then it's gonna go into autumn too, or fall, whatever you want to call it. It's happening now. Okay, nothing. Don't want to hear nothing else about it. Every day you're gonna get this hot girl summer. It's hot girl summer. It's commenced. It started. What else you want to know? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Asia again. Just coming to you today with something short, nothing too crazy, nothing too lengthy, but just about me moving to Atlanta, my being here since December, things that I've noticed, things that are different from where I'm actually from, and just little things that I want to get into while I'm here. But first and foremost, before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you won't miss a beat with anything that I do upload. First of all, it's been some time. It's been some months. No fault of yours, more me. It's just been really hectic. I'm in school, if you don't know, so I go to SCAD, and I work full time. So the last quarter, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm actually getting into more of the rigorous courses or coursework of my program, but last quarter was a little rough. We ended with an A, 3.66 GPA, but you know, we made it through there. We thugged that thing out, but I couldn't do both. I wasn't consistent, but I'm back. I took the summer off, so I'll be back in September to start school. So while I do have the time, what I did promise myself is that I would be a little bit more consistent with like giving out content and videos and recordings and stuff like that. So there's that. But today, we are going to be talking a little bit about, or I'm going to be talking a little bit about my move to Atlanta. I've been here since December, and I'm really just going to be talking. It's not going to be too lengthy, but I'm just going to be talking about, because I do get a lot of questions about, you know, how I like Atlanta, things to do here and stuff like that. I don't have the answers to all those questions because obviously I'm not a native by obviously moving here. But since I've been here in December, I'm gonna just answer some of those questions, knock those out the way. Again, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and then we're gonna just hop into this thing, okay? All right, so December. So I moved from Augusta. I'm not from Augusta, but I lived in Augusta for a year. And it was for work, and I was taking on a store location there. And I got the opportunity pretty much around Black Friday. My district manager was like, hey, we really think that you'll do great at this location in Kennesaw. And I've always wanted to move to Atlanta. Like, I've always visited, even when me living in Augusta for that year. Like, it was nothing for me to like drive 2 hours to Atlanta like on my off day and just like stay for a few hours or for maybe less than 24 hours and then just hop back on the road and go back, because again, it's 2 hours. I was in the middle of it was kind of Augusta was the midpoint between Atlanta and Charlotte, which is where I am from. So I would either be home or in Atlanta because I'm a driver. Like, that's just what I do. I like to drive. So if it's less than 4 or 5 hours, I don't mind driving it. So I was always here. My line sisters live here. Some of my friends live here. So I was always here, and Atlanta always showed me a good time. Period. Fast forward, I got the offer to take over this location in Kennesaw. And honestly, if you're from Atlanta, you know that Kennesaw it's not that far from Atlanta. It's like maybe like 25, maybe 30 minutes without traffic. So I was like, hey, that's close enough for me. I'll make it work. We'll figure it out. I actually do live in the city of Atlanta, though. I just commute to Kennesaw every day. Like I said, which is not really a big deal or anything like that, but neither here nor there. So been here since December. My old location was, like I said, in Augusta. That was a $1.2 million volume location, and now the one that I am taking on now in Kennesaw is a $2.1 million volume location. So I really work a lot, which is why I haven't been able to see the city like I want to, because of the demanding needs of my store. So with that being the case, like, I did promise myself this summer that I would get more into that and see the city more, and see what it has to offer. But as of right now, since I've been here in December, I can tell you one thing for sure. People ask me, hey Asia, how do you like Atlanta? The first thing that pops to mind is the traffic sucks. The traffic sucks ass. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, and I've dealt with traffic before. Like, it is what it is, especially in Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's growing. It wasn't always really heavily populated like that, but now over the years, obviously, it's grown. So it's gaining its own little source of traffic. But it's doable traffic, especially when you know where you're going. But this traffic is a little goddamn different. Like, it is thick as hell every day, all day. I haven't learned, I know some people have reached out to me and told me that, like, I have to start learning the traffic patterns. So like pretty much just kind of gauging when I should leave the house, or by what time I should leave the house, so I don't have to worry about so much like intense traffic. But your girl is still struggling with that. I mean, it takes me like an hour to get to work every day if I open my store. If I open my store from 9 to 6, I need to leave the house by like 8 o'clock at the very latest. And I'm just not built for that. I'm not a morning, like, let's do this thing type of person, which is why I'd much rather just close my store, which is from like 1 to 10. So when I get off, it literally just takes me 20 minutes to get home, maybe 25. But other than that, like, I've been in 2 car accidents since I've been here. One, my car was totaled. That's neither here nor there. I just was in an unfamiliar area. It was raining cats and dogs, and yeah, so there's that. I did get a blessing out of it because I did end up wanting to get a new car anyway. So I mean, that's not ideally the way I wanted to get a new car, but God is good all the time. So there's that. And then I also got into a fender bender with this car. It was actually 3 of us, but one ran into the back of the one that was behind me, and then she ran into the back of me. I didn't run into the back of anybody because I am a smart cookie and I stay almost 2 cars behind most of the time. So luckily I didn't hit anybody, and you know, you get a check out of that. But other than that, like, I'm here, I'm blessed. But whew, Atlanta traffic gives you anxiety. Like, you can't, it's not even you driving for yourself, you have to drive for other people too, because they're aggressive as hell in Atlanta when they drive. Like, aggressive, and sometimes, more times out of none, they're aggressive and wrong, like crossing over double lines, like, and speeding and everything, like, at the same time. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So most of the time I try to stay inside because I ain't got the time for none of that at all, period. Another thing that I'm not too fond of is, so I live in Atlanta, but where I am, I'm like maybe, I'm like in the North Druid Hills area. So where I'm located in North Druid Hills is kind of like, probably like 10 minutes from Lenox. So that's the closest mall to me. I now see why people that are from Atlanta don't really shop at Lenox, because Lenox, the only reason I'm going to Lenox is because there's a Lush Cosmetics there, and the next closest Lush store to me would be Mall of Georgia, which is in Beaufort, which is like almost 30 minutes away. So like, I'm not doing that. So that's the only reason I go. But Lenox is just a different type of mall. I mean, I could always go to Cumberland, but like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna drive 20 minutes to Cumberland when Lenox is 10 minutes from me, you know? So it's just one of those things that if I do have to go to the mall, I usually just suck it up and go. But like, if I can't put it in that Fashion Nova cart and they can't get to me in 3 to 5 business days, baby, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. But the times that I do have to go into Lenox, like I said, I can understand why people from Atlanta don't really go to Lenox because, like, it's very touristy, very flashy, very obviously with the stores that are anchored there, but like, it's just, you know, like it's so much pressure to be on. And baby, sometimes I just need to run up in somewhere and look homeless, you know, like oversized t-shirt, sweatpants, not Adidas slides, baseball cap, and sunglasses. Get what I need to come out without being judged. Not that I care, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to put on. My mom hates when I go out the house like that, because she's like, you live in Atlanta now, you can run into anybody, there's so many opportunities. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, but I'm not beating the face and throwing on the lash every time I go out this apartment. That's what I'm not gonna do, just because I might run into, no, I'm not doing that. And for Lenox, that's just how I feel like everybody that goes to Lenox or shops at Lenox is just like looking for some sort of like celebrity, high status person to be there. Like I mean, I don't know, but they put on when they go to Lenox, baby. I'm telling you, like premier shopping at its best. That whatever. I just don't. I'm not. This is not for me. It's not for me. It's a lot of, and then like it's the summertime too, so a lot of kids are out. They're there running around playing and all. No. So Lenox is not really. I'm not too fond of Lenox. It's a lot of things I've seen while I've gone to Lenox. I'm just talking about I've seen females with the 22-inch weave and the bodycon dress at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Like the pressure is too much. It's too much. No. Lenox for me is a no-go. Cumberland Mall, I'd probably go there. I've gone there a few times. That's a little bit more chill. I can do that, but Lenox is too much. There are really good things too. Like the food here is so amazing. Like it's so amazing. The food choice is so amazing. Like anything that you want to eat, you can find here in Atlanta. Like, oh, there's this one place called, what's it called? Big Dave's Philly cheesesteaks, and it's so goddamn good, y'all. I can't even explain. Like that was the first time that I had a chicken Philly cheesesteak. Before I've had cheesesteaks before, but I've had Philly cheesesteaks before, but this chicken Philly cheesesteak, I've only had it one time because every time I go back, they never have it. They never have chicken. So I'm just like, y'all, when I tell you it changed my life, it really did change your girl's life. Like, and I think the owner is from Philly, which is why it's a different type of Philly cheesesteak. Like, whew, and I'm telling you, like when I pulled up, it's attached to like a gas station. So, and my dad always told me like, cause so when I first pulled up, I was like, where the fuck am I at? Like, you know, like, excuse me. But, my dad used to always tell me like, you can't judge places like that. Like when the outer appearance isn't like, you know, what you're used to. Because those be the best spots. And by gosh, I can tell you that is a good damn food establishment. Goodness gracious. I literally wanted to go like every day after I had my first one. But I've calmed down since. And it's booming. Like the lines be out. Don't go, you can't go, if you do go, come to Atlanta, you want to try it. You can't go like on a Friday, or a Friday, Saturday, I don't know, yeah, or a Sunday, like, especially not a Saturday, because that line be out the door. And then you gotta also remind yourself it's attached to a gas station, so the parking is very limited too, like, but the line be out the door. It's that damn good. So usually anytime that I grab one, it's usually like on days where like people are at work already or something like that, so I don't have to like stand in a line. But the food source here is just amazing. It's hands down. another cool thing about Atlanta is it gets more so a lot of the exhibit, like pop-up exhibits or things like that, which is really cool because if you know me, I'm real artsy fartsy. Like I love museums and all that other good jazz. So I love art. So and if you don't know, there's a fun fact. But it's amazing. Like I know that previously, I think it was back in February, at the High Museum, and I've been to the High Museum, but at the High Museum they were actually exhibiting, I can't recall and I don't want to mess up the artist's name, so I'm not going to say it, but the artist of the Infinity Mirror, the exhibit, I've seen pictures and I was like, oh my God, it's so amazing. But when we went the first time to the High, I thought that we didn't know that you had to get tickets specifically for the exhibit. Like we didn't know that getting you admission into the High would only get you admission into like the actual museum, not so to walk through the exam, not the actual exhibit. So it was like kind of separate. So we said that we would go back, and by the time we tried to go back, it had already left. Or we planned to go back, it had already left. So there's that. But that's awesome, especially because I heard that a lot of the cities that the exhibit was touring, I heard that people were even like confused why Atlanta was even on the list, because a lot of the other cities were like smaller cities that like no one really knew about or no one really heard of them in big states, obviously, but cities that you never would think. So I thought that was real cool. Another one is the Slime City exhibit, which I just came back from today. And when I tell you I lived out the dream, honey, when I lived out the American dream, I lived it. I touched it. I touched the slime. I felt what it feels like all these years of me being a child, watching Nickelodeon, watching all the shows with like all the slime and everything. Like I always thought about like, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it, like I touched it. I lived the dream. And it was amazing. Like I loved it. I really felt like I was imposing on the children because there was a lot of children there, but I didn't care. I didn't really care. I didn't care. This was deeper than them, okay? So I was in there and I was living out my dream, okay? So that's another really cool thing. I know that Crit actually also, Big Crit, if you listen to his music, he was actually throwing a listening party, and he did this real cool thing where he, and in a few major cities, he got he took over like empty wall, and painted, and he had I guess his team paint a mural of his artwork or whatever for his new album release. And it was a barcode, like a unique barcode on it where you scanned it, and it gave you a chance to enter to win to go to his listening party. I didn't get to go to that, but I did end up Googling it because I thought I was gonna get to go or stop by it, but I didn't. And it was like literally 12 minutes down the street from me. So like it's a lot of cool things in Atlanta to do. One other thing that kills the hell out of me is this heat. Whoo, shit. This heat is something different, baby. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know what it is, but this heat is something crazy. Like I've never felt heat like this before. Like when I tell you it's hot as hell in Atlanta, it is hot. It's hot. Like don't touch the stove hot. Like I've always kept it like really cool in my apartment. So if you've ever been to like any of my apartments, like even when I was in Augusta, like I keep it cool in my apartment because I can't sleep in the heat. Baby, that thing makes you not want to go outside. Like I be getting out my car at 3:00 in the afternoon, just mad at the world. Like what is going on? Who turned on the heat to 96? Like who did it? Why, Father God? Why? Like it's hot in Atlanta. And I've never felt any kind of heat like this before. I cannot say it any other way. Like this shit is scary hot. Like I don't be wanting to do nothing else but either go to work or be home. That's how hot it is. But whatever. we're getting used to it. We still keeping the thermostat on low, but whatever. Like, this shit is ridiculous. One last thing that's like really interesting, or a couple things that are just interesting to me, is the nightlife here. I'm not very fond of it, just because I'm not, contrary to belief. I know if you follow me on Instagram, I know it probably looks like I'm always out or I'm always doing something. No, I'm usually always working. But when I do go out, I mean, I'm just like every other girl. I take pictures when I go out. My friends take pictures when we, like, whatever. So it's few and far between. But baby, this nightlife, I'm gonna just tell you right now, like, if we're not in a section, I'm not going. Like, I'm from Charlotte, so literally all we really have is like the epicenter, which is downtown, and then we have a few bars outside of that. But it's just different. Like, people dress different. People, like, you just know the crowd. Here, and maybe because it's just because I haven't gone out that much either, but here it's different. It's very different. It's like the epicenter, like back home, on 10,000. Like, yeah. And I'm just a real cool regular girl, so like, I'm gonna throw on a little dress. I might throw on some jeans, cute heels, be the face, go out, but like, I'm not under the pressure to be like wearing everything designer, or like, or God, like, I'm talking about 60-inch weaves, ass for days, ass shots for days. I don't know. It could be either or the two. I don't know. All of that. Like, I'm just, it's too much. It's a lot. But I mean, to each his own. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I'm not really fond of it. And again, like I said, if I'm not in a section, I'm not standing around at the club. And of course, Atlanta is big for like Magic City, Compound, the Gold Room, like Oak, all of that. But no. I think I went to Medusa Lounge once, and it was on the whim, and we honestly didn't even stay for long, like, because I think we had a couple drinks and I was just like, yeah, I'm over it. So the nightlife not necessarily is for me per se, but whatever. And then one other bomb thing I feel is that, like, it feels good to be like, Atlanta is definitely, and I know, and I think I saw it, I can't remember where I saw it, but I was reading something and it was saying that Atlanta was, I think, either I think it was number 2. I think Charlotte was number 6. But cities for young Black millennials, or like that are doing like really good, or doing success, or are really successful right now. And I felt that when I saw those numbers, like, it felt accurate to me, because when I'm here, like, excuse me, y'all, when I'm here, like, you can just tell, even amongst all the traffic and hustle and bustle and everything, it just feels good to be amongst people that are grinding just as hard as you are. I know I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me that, like, they got like 3, it was a girl, and she was like, yeah, I got like 3 jobs. And I was just like, damn. But I didn't feel like, damn girl, it's not that deep. I felt like, damn, like, people really be out here hustling, and I admire that, and I'm totally here for that, just because I'm a really hardworking person as well, and I'm very dedicated to my grind and making sure that one day that I can be out here spoiling my family, and taking hella extra trips for no reason and all the other shit too. So like, I could respect that, and it makes you feel good about being here, because everybody else is doing the exact same thing. So but yeah, that's really it. I promised myself that I would get out a little bit more over the course of the summer, just to see what the city has to offer. But that was just a little bit of tidbit that I wanted to give. My advice on moving to Atlanta: make sure that you look at all your options, in as far as it pertains to your living arrangements. Of course, I only had like 3 weeks. I was told, like, kind of right after Black Friday, like 2 days after Black Friday, that I would need to like kind of pick up and move my life in like 3 weeks. So I didn't really get a good chance to figure out like where I wanted to live. But where I did end up picking, or what I did end up picking, it suits me. It suits my lifestyle, so I'm okay living here. But take all the opportunity that you can to like search the areas here, so you get a good spot. Traffic again is always going to be there, so I usually don't even complain about it anymore because it's just understood at this point. But if you first get here, when you first get here, you probably will be a little shooketh, because it is a little different type of traffic, different. So and really that's it. Like, and I guess the biggest thing also would be, if you do move to Atlanta, make sure you have a purpose or understanding of what it is that you want to do while you're here, or what it is that you are doing, or what it is that you came here to do. Because I haven't felt it, so thank God. And that's probably because I'm a little older also. If I probably would have moved here when I was 20 or 21, God knows what or who or where I would have been. So thank God for him moving me to Atlanta at my own time. Because like I said before, I've always wanted to move to Atlanta, but I just didn't know how I was going to do it, or how I was going to get there, when it was going to happen. But it's important for you to know what you're here for and know your purpose, because it is always something to do in Atlanta. That's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing too. You don't want to get lost in the mix of trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it just know your purpose of why you're here and the things that you want to do and the goals that you set. But other than that, that's really it. So that's my little spiel. I promise, like I said, over the summer I have a little bit more time on my hands, so I'm going to be a little more consistent with my videos. Just let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about. I am coming soon with the makeup tutorial for sure. I know that everybody been asking me about that, but I gotta get the lighting and the like backdrop and all that together or something. I don't know, because when I did it one time or filmed it one time in my bathroom, I just didn't like the way it looked, which is why I didn't post it. So there's that. I'm trying to work out there, figure out the science to that, but it's coming soon for sure. Other than that, let me know if anything else you want me to talk about. Again, this is all per my opinion of Atlanta and me just moving here in 6 months. So a lot of the times people ask like, hey, how do you feel about Atlanta? I don't know yet. I don't know. I work, I go home, I work. Like, I'm gonna take the time over the summer to get out a little bit more. I have gone to Palm City Market. I really love that. It reminds me of Noda back home. The vibe is like very eclectic. I really like that. There are other places that I visited as well, but I'm just gonna take the time to figure it out a little bit more. So by the end of the year, I know exactly how I feel about Atlanta. If I want to move again, if I don't want to move, if I want to make Atlanta my home, you know, all of that. So nonetheless, thanks for watching. I hope you guys tune in. I know this was a little lengthy and I said it wouldn't be, but nonetheless, there it is. Again, like I said, this is all per my opinion, so don't be acting crazy in my comments or nothing like that. Like, if you live in Atlanta, if you're born and raised in Atlanta, I get it, okay? This is just outside looking in, me just moving here, so just a little tidbit of what I feel, my opinion, okay? Everybody's entitled to one, all right? Nonetheless, bye guys. Talk to you later. See you next time.